Club Sapphire, and this is kind of cool. Check out these seats.
Yeah, they're like shoes.
Yes, these are like the high heeled shoes, and it's funny because they've had these by the front door, and they've had them since I don't know how long, and I've never sat in them before, but they're like super snazzy. I know you love them, and you talk about them all the time because you're a high heel person.
I am. I'd love to have a pair of these in my room, or at least just one. I don't need a pair.
I don't need to sit there.
No.
So just you. But yeah. We should get some of these. These are very cool. So we're actually in the main room. This is kind of nice. We're kind of bouncing around when we record, but it's like sometimes we come in here before they open, which is good because then we can go into the spots where there's usually like 100 people standing right here,
right?
which would not be necessarily conducive to talking about lifestyle stuff.
Right.
So what do we want to talk about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about rules.
Etiquette, yes. The important things that are really a good idea across the board.
Sure.
Whether you're at a party at someone's house or you're at a club like Sapphire.
Whether you've been here before or never been and are thinking about coming, it's always good to have a refresher on the rules, too.
Exactly. And if it's your first time coming into the club, then they will talk to you about etiquette just as a good idea. And of course, if you've never been to a club at all, then it's a good idea to hear these types of things, and then of course
put them in practice.
And then when you do come in and they give you the tour, that you can actually ask and expand on that a bit and see exactly what you need to do if there's kind of a gray area. But generally, etiquette is something that you in the lifestyle you learn it pretty quickly, I find. Like the first one that comes up off the top of my head about like touching is a perfect example of one where in the vanilla world, touching is kind of one of those things that's almost frowned upon in a nightclub situation, where in the lifestyle, since that's kind of like the first step into eventually playing in the back room, that you want to obviously get to that point. So touching is important, but there's right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it.
Well, and keep in mind too, people that you're reaching out to in a lifestyle situation. Now, how many of us usually when you see someone, you give them a hug and usually you kiss them? But if you're just meeting someone new, you might hug them or shake their hand or whatever, but you definitely wouldn't want to kiss them until you know what their rules are. And there are some people out there that don't allow
You're just talking
kissing.
about like the peck kiss that seems to be popular in the lifestyle. Is that because that definitely is some?
Is it a peck kiss?
Well,
I mean, it
like
just
when you say hi to
depends on
somebody.
who. It depends on who you're saying hi to. I know for me, yes, sometimes it's a peck, sometimes it's more than a peck.
Well,
sure. It just depends, I'm sure, person to person and situation to situation. My point was, know the person well before you go in and do that without their permission, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because some people do have the no kissing rule.
Sure. Well, as far as touch is concerned, so how do you like to be approached from a touching perspective?
From someone I know or don't know?
Someone you don't know that you just started talking to.
I don't mind a little bit of touch, like maybe on the shoulder or something like that, until I get to know you.
Okay.
I don't mind a hug.
I tend to do that when I'm like greeting somebody, like specifically I guess women more often than men. But if they put their hand up in the lifestyle, I'm like, oh, I'm a hugger, and they're a hugger too, and that's fine. And then you actually also get that first kind of barrier down, I guess.
Right. But it's still good to say, oh, can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
You've never met them.
Yeah.
But just asking permission and seeking out what they're comfortable with. That's very important. Some people might be new and don't know what to expect, and the idea of getting hugged by this strange person that they've never met could be really awkward and scary for them. So it's always good to just ask. It's not going to hurt. I mean, if someone says no, fine, move on and go from there. But it's better that you asked and they said no than you just doing it and they freak out and run or whatever.
Right. So if someone were to talk to you and they're having a conversation, what type of touching would be okay with you? I mean, you got that, but
the most important thing, I mean, touching is one thing, but also paying attention to body language. If you're touching the person and I'm getting closer, then obviously that means, okay, the arm on the shoulder is good, maybe I can try the knee and see how that goes, as you're having a conversation. And then if I maybe move your hand off my knee, maybe that says, okay, back off. All right. So paying attention to body language is extremely important.
This actually reminds me of another funny story. It's so funny that every time we do these, I think it's something. Okay, so I love this story. Okay, so this pertains to what we're talking about. We're on a cruise, and there was a couple. There was a triad that I had talked to online beforehand. This absolutely gorgeous, very young triad. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do, and you always tell it wrong. But go ahead.
I probably tell it so it sounds better. So it sounds embellish, right? That makes the story better, right? And then there were explosions.
I'll just go through and clean up after he's done. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm talking to this triad. There's a guy and two girls, and they're all three of them are gorgeous, and they're like, yeah, we want to meet up with you guys when we get on the boat. And we're like, oh, okay, that sounds awesome. And so we get on the ship, and we meet them, and they're all real nice, and they're super hot, and she's like drooling over the guy, and they're all like probably mid-20s, something along those lines. And so we're talking to them, and so there was no permissions or anything that had happened, and then like we get out to the dance floor, and the guy starts talking to you, and he's getting really, really close to you, and then he just goes and just grabs your boobs and goes honk honk, and the look on your face of wow, like every bit of like attraction that you had for the guy, and I mean he acted like a 12-year-old.
Okay, so the cleanup.
All right, so tell the story actually how it happened.
You had talked to them, yes. I wasn't drooling over him. He was good looking, but I was not drooling over him. I always have had a thing with like younger guys. I'm not that interested in them because so far not one younger guy has been able to prove to me that he's really worth my time and energy. So
from a sexual standpoint?
Well, just maturity and sexual. Yeah,
you like mature guys like
mature.
Me.
So you talked to him. You talked to him and everything. I met him. You introduced him and I. And we were at the pool, and I was topless at the pool.
Oh, sorry. You're right.
Yeah, and we were dancing. And then he came up to me, and he didn't go honk honk. He pretended they were talking to each other.
Oh, they pretended they were talking to each other, yes.
He was like, hi, how are you today? I'm doing really well. How are you? And I was just like staring at him like, what the fuck is happening right now? I just don't understand. And yeah, a total loss of interest right there. I was done. Not even remote. Like, yeah, see ya. Please don't talk to me again.
So if the guy would have asked beforehand, do you mind if I use your breasts as puppets? You would have been like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
I would have said no. I don't know what your lady's see in you, but enjoy.
Yeah, dang it.
Yeah.
They were hot, too. But yeah, that one, I can see that one not working out for you. So.
It just does nothing for me.
So that's, from an etiquette standpoint, gentlemen, don't use women's breasts as puppets. Unless you've that's kind of your, the fetish thing going on.
Yeah. If that's what you're into, then by all means.
Exactly.
Have a puppet show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's a moral to that story, but I like it. I like telling that story.
I know you do.
All right, what else? Well, in clubs, privacy, of course, is going to be is more important than anything.
Kind of like what happens in the club stays in the club. If you get here and you see someone that you recognize from out and about, like the Girl Scout troop leader or whatever, go say hi if you're into that. Like if you're, there, if they see you, you guys are all curious about each other, and I don't know, say hi, don't say hi, whatever, you do you. But, don't go out and spread it around town. That's not cool. You wouldn't want them doing that to you. Keep it between the two of you. You and your partner are here as a couple. And, there is some afterwards, usually excitement and talk and, oh my gosh, but keep that between the two of you. Don't spread it out and about. No one wants that.
Exactly. And I think just about anybody who's been in the lifestyle for any amount of time have stories about running into someone that they know.
Right.
And I mean, it's happened to us half a dozen times probably in the 6 years that we've been doing this. But we'll talk to the club owners in different places, and they'll be like, oh yeah, no, there's someone runs into their priest from their church, or a cousin or a parent or a sibling, that type of thing. And it's one of those things too where yeah, you obviously want to keep it secret. But people will, like, book it if they see someone they recognize. And it's like, well, you have to realize that if they're here for the same reason, you might not obviously have any interest in them for lots of reasons. But they're, they see you, you see them, then it's actually kind of a funny conversation. Just don't obviously talk about it the next day at work if they work with you, because then it becomes kind of a super awkward thing.
Yeah.
last night your tits looked amazing, and you're like, this is like
Sexual
your boss
harassment.
at work. Yeah, it's
generally
not a good idea. Yeah, I don't recommend that. So yeah, privacy is a good thing. Of course, the international no means no. That one's that one's.
When she says no, don't make my boobs into a puppet show. You say thank you very much and leave.
What if you would have drawn on them, or little happy faces like the nipple was your nose?
I'm not into that. No, never. No.
I kind of want to see that now.
Well, find someone who's into that and enjoy.
Fine. But anyway, no means no is kind of the international thing in the lifestyle, where it's not a no means maybe later. And I know that's a common problem, and I think we've talked about that before, where if someone someone hits on you and you don't have interest in them, that oftentimes, and we did this early on, that we would say things like, oh, we're not going to be playing right now, or maybe later type of thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe later implies maybe later. So it's better to say no and
get it over with and let them move on, instead of, wistfully looking at you across the room and thinking, okay, now, is it time now? Or
she wasn't ready that day, but maybe the next time you come in, and it's just kind of like...
You don't want to dread, am I going to see that person because they're going to bug me over and over. Just tell them no, everybody move on, and be done with it.
Right. So, yeah, it's as simple as that. If someone says no to you, then just say, okay, all right, it's no big deal. There's
a million reasons why they could be saying no. It could have nothing to do with... they're just not attracted to you, or they're just, whatever. You guys know there's a million reasons why you would say no to someone for, and you just know that the next person might say yes. Exactly. So just move on. There's plenty of other swingers in the room.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Lots of fun to be had.
Also, alcohol.
Yeah.
So, Sapphire is a bring your own booze place. Which is nice that you can bring in whatever you want to drink and enjoy the libations as much as you want without actually having to pay a bartender and all that, which actually would save you quite a bit in the cost. If you went to just a vanilla club, it's going to cost you a lot.
You don't even know.
I don't even know. Well,
idea.
I was about to say $50-$60 in alcohol, but I'm like, you know what? No, it's more than that. And obviously we've talked to people at clubs, they'll spend $1,000 on alcohol in a night. So yeah, there's a wide range. But the point is that even though ticket prices at lifestyle clubs are definitely higher than they are at a vanilla club, or
as they should be,
to keep out the riffraff. But you actually end up saving it quite a bit as far as alcohol, just bringing your own in, and you can make what you want. And they have the bartenders here that'll gladly help you and do it for you on a busy night, so that you don't have to deal with it, which is great. But drunkenness is something that
it's not sexy.
Well, yeah, we haven't really run into that over the years. There's definitely been times on trips, when people are in vacation mode that we've gone on, that there's one guy out of 500 that's definitely gone, but that's very rare. Personally, I'm not a big drinker, but especially in lifestyle situations, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to remember everything that happens. If there's this gorgeous woman that I'm having sex with, I want to make sure that she's in there, that I'm not the next day going, did I have sex with somebody? It's like that just no. I want to remember it all, because it's all going in the spank bank. And then, of course, being able to perform is another big factor with alcohol. It's like, if you have whiskey dick, then you're going to get back in there and you're going to be like that one guy that you had sex with, or you tried to have sex with, that started screaming at his dick because it didn't work.
Right. Well, and the other thing, too, is I personally don't want to have sex with someone who is not 100% there, just because... what if they regret it tomorrow? What if I regret it tomorrow? What if they are in the middle of it and they just decide they're done? Or I can't imagine that would be very good either. They would just be like a total pillow princess, and you're like, why am I doing all the work? This is not fun for me.
Excuse me for a minute, I gotta throw up. Yeah.
I guess if you're both drunk, whatever. But it's
That would
not
be
going to be
amazing
very
sex.
good. It's not going to be a very good experience. And I personally just don't find like really drunk attractive. I want to have a good time, and you know, I would assume you do too. So it just makes sense not to have too much. And I get that it's nice to have a little bit of liquid courage.
It's a social
to be able
lubricant.
to talk to people and feel comfortable in that. But just watch yourself and, you know, keep hydrated and make sure you have enough food in your stomach, and don't be so nervous that you just drink too much. You know, a good rule of thumb maybe for you, if you are really nervous and feeling like you might drink too much, is maybe just don't bring as much. So once it's gone, it's gone. You can bring like little minis. They have mixers here, and 2 minis and you're done, kind of thing. Or do 1 glass of alcohol, 1 glass of water, you know? But yeah, drunkenness is just not sexy.
Not your thing. Okay.
Not my thing.
Well, yeah, and one other thing to talk about too is being respectful of the club in general. It's a really important thing to realize, and you will if you've been coming to Sapphire or to any club for that matter, you'll realize after a very short period of time that it's one big family and that it's your club. It's not like just some random club downtown Seattle or anything like that, where you're just kind of going in, you pay the people, and then there's scary guys standing there looking at you the whole time, and, you know, rude bartenders that ignore you unless you're holding up a 50 and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you don't have to deal with any of that because everybody really, really is a family and lifestyle, and it's nice that way. And so it's kind of an expected thing to also be respectful of the club or at someone's house if you were at a lifestyle party. I mean, we have you know, stories. We had a story about someone that we had a house party, and someone ignored the sign on our bedroom door and decided to have an orgy on our bed in our bedroom.
There were condoms
left. On the floor, and
our clothes were. I had clothes because I changed mid-party on my bed. Those were on the floor. My jewelry was knocked off the table. Like, I don't know what the fuck.
And this is obviously like a room that was like
obviously
off limits because we were having a party. We threw everything into our bedrooms, so, you know, full of stuff. But they were horny and they didn't particularly respect the rule of the house that way. And so it's, you know, it's just one of those things where it's just, if you have this kind of general respect for the club and the people that are here, and I mean, it really works around that way. I mean, I had mentioned in a different video about, you know, me being security and honestly not having to do anything, because generally in the lifestyle people almost like police themselves and police everyone else, each other. It's like if there's a unicorn here, for example, I mean, there's, you know, if she gets bombarded by people, there's always other people, whether it's nice couples or friends or whatever, that will kind of protect her to make sure that she doesn't, you know, something bad happen to her. And it's just nice that people do that.
And I think that goes for respect with the property as well. You know, like, and I've never seen this, but don't stand on the couches in your heels. You know, you wouldn't want to. I mean, they have beautiful furniture here, and that's all for us. And so don't ruin it by puncturing it with your heel, you know. And there is a rule, like, don't wear shoes into the playrooms, like no heels in the playrooms. So respect that rule, and, you know, don't stand on the mattresses in your heels. You know, we want that stuff to last so that we can play again. You know?
Exactly. And this is, I mean, we've been to a lot of clubs, and this is unquestionably the cleanest one we've ever been to. I mean, they are like on the ball with like just messes and things. I mean, it's, you know, there's sex that happens.
Stuff happens. I mean, I have to say though, with as many times as we've been in the back, I can't. Like, I don't feel like I've ever really encountered a nasty wet spot. And that has happened many other
at house parties
or cruises or whatever. I mean, they are so on the ball here that, and yeah, it happens. Like, whatever, you know, you just get that one bed. But for me, I don't think it's ever happened to me. Or if it has, it was so rare that it's so rare that it just doesn't, like.
But even in that situation, I mean, if you were with a woman and she was a squirter, for example, and you you had your towels, you bring the towels in, you have the towels down, but the sheet still gets wet, just tell a volunteer.
Right.
And when you're done, and the volunteer will immediately switch it out and get it ready for the next person because they want to keep it clean all night through.
Right.
Where we've been to house parties, and it's like if you're lucky if you're the first people having sex in that bed.
First.
Yeah, because by 1 in the morning,
later.
it's like
it's not good
on the bed anymore. So, but that's what's really nice about this place is they keep it like meticulously clean, as any good lifestyle club should. That being said, I mean and it's like with condoms. It's like when you're done with a condom, put it in the garbage. There's garbage cans everywhere. People do that here, which is really nice. But I'm sure there's probably 1 out of 1,000 people that just toss it to the wind or something like that. Or you forget.
I mean, shit happens, but do your best to clean up after yourself. If you use, or when you use towels, when you're done, put them away in the laundry. Don't just leave them on your mom is not going to come clean up after you. So do it yourself.
Unless you happen to run into your mom, like we said earlier, and then that's weird, and but you can say, hey, and
slowly back away.
It's
your night, Mom. Bye.
Yeah, say, you stay here this week. I'll come back to the club next week, and then we don't run into each other. And
that's not sexy conversation at all.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And on that note, if you have any topics or anything that you'd like us to talk about in a future video, please definitely email us right at that address right down below. We love to hear topic ideas, and if you feel like asking us a question or whatever, no matter how ridiculous or personal or whatever, that's fine too, because we're as you can see, we're pretty open books, and we have a lot of fairly interesting stories to tell about just kind of being around the block as long as we have been in the lifestyle. So definitely message us. We appreciate it. And if you see us at the club,
say hi.
Say hi, because we're pretty darn friendly people, I think.
You can touch me on the shoulder.
You can touch me on the shoulder. That's right. Don't go up to her boobs and play. If you learn anything else, she doesn't like puppets on her breasts. So as much.
But you're totally into a puppet show with your dick, so I don't know. Right?
Puppet show with my dick. Now I'm kind of intrigued. Okay, so you're okay. Well, no, because the first thing I think of is you putting your hand up my ass to do the mannequin.
Not me, but I'm sure you can find someone who would do that. I know, because we all know you're into it.
So email me at that. No, okay. All right, and check out the Facebook group, of course, and join that if you're a member of the club. And there's a lot of secret stuff that goes on in there, and you can connect with people beforehand. Always check out Club Sapphire's page, clubsapphire.net. Because you can see what cool parties are coming up, and every week there's something going on, and a lot of cool dress-ups are coming up soon. So I'm pretty excited about those. So definitely check those out. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching again. We'll see you next time.
Bye.